Hey, what's up everyone? It's Giorgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and we got new merch on the Teespring store. And the newest shirt is called ASMR. It's the key to happiness. It truly is. All shirts are affordable. We got mugs for it. We got the new Smile t-shirt right here, you guys. You definitely don't want to miss out on these really cool, affordable deals. And the link is in the description of this video. Let's get into it, shall we? It's great to be back with you guys. This is Giorgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and tonight I'm back with another ASMR video, and it's gonna be an ASMR bedtime story for this really fun young adult fantasy novel called Slayer, written by Kiersten White, and it's based on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So if you all really like vampire stories, if you really love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you're really going to enjoy this. And so make sure you all are really nice and comfy and safe in a nice, cool, or warm blanket, whatever you may prefer. And let's get into this story. Also, let me know what you think of the sound, the background, and the new t-shirts, the new ASMR t-shirt, But anyways, let's get into the book. To everyone who was chosen, but who chooses themselves. Slayer. They, of all people, should have known better than to be in a cemetery as the sun set and night claimed the world. The hunter watched the mother straight as a lightning rod jam into the earth, channeling her grief into the grave where her heart had been buried. On either side of her stood a little girl in pink cowboy boots. They were both skinny and pale. Their red curls now leached of color in the darkness. The darkness was the great equalizer. Everyone was the same in the dark, colorless, featureless, powerless. The hunter would keep them that way. It was her job, after all. She turned to the vampire beside her. They were both invisible in the black recess of Mausoleum. The woman lives. The children are yours. Technically, only one of the girls needed to die, but it was better to avoid any prophetic loopholes. The vampire strolled out toward the grieving family. He didn't hide or prowl. He didn't need to. One of the girls tugged frantically on her mother's hand. Mama, Mama. The woman turned wearily without enough time to be surprised before the vampire threw her. She flew back, hitting her husband's granite headstone and falling unconscious to the soft ground over him. Merrick Jameson Smite, husband, father, watcher, loomed above her in a classically carved letters. The hunter wished she could take a photo. It was perfect staging. Hello, girls. The vampire's glee was audible. The hunter checked her watch. She should have had picked a hellhound, or perhaps the Order of Taraka. But they were outside her price range and frankly overkill. 2 children needed a very minimal amount of kill, and she liked the symmetry of using a vampire. He held out his arms as though inviting the children startling speed and fury that the vampire fell backward, tangled up. Before he could kick the girl off, the other one jumped on his chest, and then the vampire was gone. Both girls stood, brushing dust from their neat black dresses. The second little girl tucked the stake back into her flowery cowboy boot. They hurried over their mother and patted her cheeks until she stirred. At least their mother had the sense to be picnic. The hunter sighed, annoyed, as the mother pulled the girls to herself. Now they were all watching the night. Alert, the hunter had hoped to avoid the confrontation of revealing himself, but it had to be done. She pulled out her crossbow. Her beeper chimed. Wow, they've still got beepers in this time period. Anyways, she looked down at the out of habit, and when she looked back up, the family was gone. She swore she never have used a vampire. That was what she got for trying to pit a poetic tragedy. She had orders to keep her mother alive, if possible, and she wanted their mother to live alone. Having lost everything to the same pathetic half-breed of a monster. Punishment for thinking she could hide from prophecy. Punishment for risking the entire world for her own selfish desires. Well, the hunter would have found them again. She flipped up her hood and strolled to the nearest gas station. A payphone waited in an anemic full of light. She picked it up and dialed the number on her beeper. Is it done? No, the hunter replied. I'm disappointed in you. So groany, she hung up, scowling, and then went inside the gas station. She had failed to avert the apocalypse. For now, she needed candy. Chapter 1. Of all the awful things demons do, keeping Latin alive when it deserves to be a dead language might be the worst. To say nothing of ancient Sumerian, and ancient Sumerian translated into Latin, diabolic. My tongue trips over the pronunciation as I painstakingly work through the page in front of me. I used to love my time in the library, surrounded by the work of generations of previous watchers. But ever since the most recent time, the world almost ended. 62 days ago, to be exact. I can barely sit still. I fidget, tap my pencil, but bounce my toes against the floor. I want to go for a run. I don't know why the anxiety has hit me differently this time. After all the horror and tragedy I've seen before, there is one possible reason that tugs at my brain. But that can't be right. I peer at my own writing. The shadow one will rise and the world will tickle before him. I do hate being tickled, Rise says, leaning back and stretching. His curly brown hair has once defined its strict part. It flops over his forehead and softening the hard line of his eyebrows, which are perpetually drawn to close to his glasses, in thought of concern. After we finish this morning's lessons, I tidy up my small medical center, and Rise will train for combat with Artemis. I shake out my hands, needing to move something. Maybe I will really go for a run. No one would miss me maybe I'll ask if I can join combat training. They've never let me, but I haven't asked in years, and I really want to hit something, and I don't know why, and it scares me. It could be the demonic prophecies of doom. I've been reading all morning though. I scratch out my botched translation. As far as apocalypses go, tickling's not the worst way to die. Imogen clears her throat, but her indulgent smile softens the severity. Can we get back to your translation, Nina? And Rise, I want a full report on half-human, half-demon taxonomy. Rise ducks his head, blushing. He's the only one here who's in line to be a full watcher, which means he can join the council one day. Someday, he'll be in charge, part of the governing body of the council. He wears the weight in everything he does. He's the first one in the library and the last one out. And he trains almost as much as Artemis. Watchers were meant to guide slayers, the chosen ones specifically endowed to fight demons. But over the centuries, we've evolved to be more hands-on. Watchers have to make the hard decisions, and sometimes the hard decisions includes weapons. Swords, spells, knives, guns in my father's case. Not all of us train though. We all take our education seriously. But there's slightly less pressure from me. I'm just a castle medic, which doesn't rate high on the importance scale. Learning how to take lives beats knowing how to save them. But being a medic doesn't get me out of prophecies of the Doom 101. I pushed away the Latin Sumerian tickle apocalypse. Imogen, I whine, can I get something a little less difficult? Please. She gives a long-suffering sigh. Imogen wasn't supposed to be a teacher, but she's all we've got now, on account of the regular teachers being blown up. She teaches for a few hours every morning, and the rest of her time is spent managing the littles. Her blonde ponytail swings limply as she stands and searches the far bookshelf. I hold back a trumpet smile. Imogen is always nicer to me than anyone else. Actually, everyone here is. I try not to take advantage, but if they're going to treat me like the castle pet just because I'm not all with the stabby stab, at least I should get some perks. The shelf Imogen is searching is technically off limits, but since Buffy, the Slayer, who single-handedly destroyed almost our entire organization, broke all magic on Earth a couple of months ago, it doesn't matter anymore. The books that used to pose threats such as demonic possession or summoning ancient hell gods or giving you like a really bad paper cut are now as benign as any other book. But that doesn't make them any easier to translate. Magic is still broken, right? I asked as Imogen runs her fingers down the spine of a book that once killed an entire room full of watchers in the 15th century. It's been 2 months without a drop of magical energy. For an organization that was built on magic, it hasn't been an easy adjustment. I wasn't taught to use magic, but I have very helpful respect for of it. So it's creepy seeing Imogen treat that particular tomato like anything else on the shelf. Fresh out of batteries, and no one can find the right size. Rye scolds as his text as though insulted by the demons he's reading about. When Buffy breaks something, she breaks it good. Personally, I think if confronted with the seed of wonder, the source of all magic on earth, a genuine mystical miracle, I might opt to say, study it, research, really think through my options. There had to be another way to avert that particular apocalypse. Buffy sees, Buffy destroys, I muttered. Her name feels almost like a swear word on my tongue. We don't say it aloud in my family. Then again, we don't say much in my family at all besides, hey, have you seen my best dagger? And where are our steak carving supplies? And hello, my $20. It is I, your mother, and I love one of you better than the other, and choose to save the good twin first when the fire was about to kill you both. Okay, not that the last one, because again, we don't talk much. Living under the same roof isn't as cozy as it sounds when that roof covers a massive castle. Think of all we could have learned, Rise says mournfully. Mournfully. If I had even an hour with the seed of wonder in her defense, the world was ending, Imogen says. In her not defense, she was the reason the world was ending. I counter. And now magic is dead. Imogen shrugs. No more hellmouths or portals. No more demons popping in for vacations and sightseeing. I snort. Foodie tours of Planet Human or Council. Sorry, demonic dimensions. Of course. It also means no current tourists can get back to their homes, sweet hellholes. Rice calls, pulling off his glasses and polishing them. You're joking about this disruption and destruction of all the research we compiled on demonic traveling portals, dimensions, and gateways, and hellmouths. None of it is current anymore. Even if I wanted to understand how things have changed, I couldn't. See, Buffy hurts everyone. Poor Rise. No books on this subject. I pat his head. Imogen tosses a huge volume on the table, and yet your homework still isn't done. Try this one. A poof of dust blows onward from the book. I flinch away and cover my nose. She grimaces. Sorry. No, it's fine. I actually haven't had an asthma attack in a while. It's fine that my asthma mysteriously disappeared the same day Buffy destroyed magic. The world almost ended and I got showered in interdimensional demonic goo. Totally fine. Has nothing to do with the demon. Neither does the fact that I'm desperate to go running or start training or do anything with my body besides snuggled up and read, which used to be his primary occupation. I could pull down my sweater sleeve over my hand and carefully wipe the letter cover. The apocalypse of Arctatrius, the fire-sighted, sounds like the dude that just needed a better prescription for glasses. fingerprints, the handwriting changing as it moves through the centuries. On the last few pages, there are orange fingerprints, like someone was reading while eating Cheetos. Ugh. The watchers before me have made their own notes, commenting and filling in details. Seeing their work overwhelms me with a sense of responsibility. It's not every 16-year-old girl who can trace her family's calling back through the centuries of helping slayers, fighting demons, and otherwise saving the world. I find a good entry. Did you know that in 1912, one of the Merryweathers prevented an octopus uprising? A Leviathan demon gave them sentence, and they were going to overthrow us. Merryweather doesn't give many details. It appears they defeated them all with, I squint, lemon and butter. I think this is a recipe. Imogen taps on the book, gestures like the last 10 prophecies. How about I get to work? Rise occasionally as Imogen questions, and by the time our class period is almost over, he was what looks like half the extensive shelves piled on our groaning table. In years past, Rise and I wouldn't have studied together. He'd have been in classes with the other future council hopefuls, but there are so few of us now, and we have to relax some of the structure and tradition. Not all of it, though. Without tradition, what would we be? Just a bunch of weirdos hiding in a castle, satisfying the things that no one else wants to know about. Which I guess is what we are with tradition too. But knowing I'm a part of a millennium-long battle against the forces of evil, and apparently octopuses, makes it much more meaningful. Buffy and the Slayers might have turned their backs on the Watchers, rejecting our guidance and counsel, but we haven't turned our backs on the world. Normal people can go on living oblivious and happy because of our hard work, and I'm proud of that, even when it means I have to translate dumb prophecies, and even if I've wondered more and more the last few years, if the way the Watchers and Slayers fight evil is always right. The library door slams open and my twin sister Artemis walks in. She takes a deep breath and scowls, crossing past me and tugging open the ancient window. It groans in protest, but as with all things, Artemis accomplishes her goal. She pulls out one of my inhalers from her pocket and sets it on the table beside me. Everything in this castle runs because of Artemis. She is a force of nature, an angry but efficient force of nature. Hello to you too, I say with a smile. She tugs my hair. We both have red waves, though hers always pulled back into a brutal ponytail. I have a lot more time for moisturizing than she does. Her face is looking in the mirror, and if that mirror was a prophecy of who I be in another life. Her freckles are darker from spending so much time outside. Her gray eyes are more intense. Her jawline somehow stronger. Her shoulders are straighter. Her arms are more defined. Her posture is less snuggly and more I will destroy you if it comes to that. In short, Artemis is the strong twin, the powerful twin, the chosen twin, and I'm the one who got left behind. I don't just mean the fire eater, the moment when my mother was forced to choose to save one of us from the terrifying flames and choose Artemis was definitely life-changing. But even after that, even after I managed to survive, my mother kept choosing her. Artemis was chosen for testing and training. Artemis was given responsibilities and duties and a vital role in Watcher society, and I was left behind on the fringes. I only sort of matter now because so many of us are dead. Artemis always would have mattered, and the truth is, I get it. I was born into Watcher society, but Artemis deserves to be here. She's sitting next to me, pulling out her notebook and opening it to today's to-do list. It's in the microscopic handwriting and goes past the first page onto at least one more. No one in this castle does more than Artemis. Listen, she says, I might have hurt Jade. I look up from where I almost finished with this book. Every other prophecy had margin notes detailing how that particular apocalypse was averted. I idly wonder what it means that this is the last prophecy. Did Artemis, the farsighted, finally get glasses? Is actually, did Arturius? Wow, that's a big ass word. Anyways, or was this apocalypse so apocalypsy that he couldn't see past it? It also has no Watcher notes, and Watchers are meticulous. If it doesn't have notes, that means it hasn't been averted yet. But my own castle emergencies are far more pressing. But might have hurt Jade, you mean? Artemis shrugs. Definitely did. On cue, Jade limps in. She picks up her tarot midar garment. Wow, that's a big ass word. And just because magic is broken doesn't mean that I should be Artemis' punching bag. I know my father worked in special ops, but I don't want to. I was good at magic, and I'm not good at this. No one is next to Artemis, Rise says. His voice is quiet and without judgment, but we all freeze. It's one of the things we don't talk about. Artemis isn't arguably the best, and yet she's the assistant, and Rise is the official golden boy. Watchers excel at research, record keeping, and not talking about things. The entire organization is ever so British. Though technically, Artemis and I are American. We lived in California and then Arizona before coming here. Rise, Jade, Imogen, who all grew up in London, still laugh when I treat rain like a novelty. It's been 8 years in England and Ireland, but I adore rain and green and all things non-desert. Jade plops down on the other side of me, hauling her ankle up onto my lap. I rotated for range of movement. That one translated as Slayer. Artemis says, peering over my shoulder. She crosses out where I had mistranslated a word for as killer. Same difference. Jay yelps, ouch. Sorry, nothing is broken, but it's swelling already. I think it's a mild sprain. glance at Artemis and she looks away, guessing my thoughts as she so often can. She knows I'm going to tell her there is no reason to train this hard, to hurt each other. Instead of rehashing our usual debate, I point to my translation. What about this word? Protector, Artemis says. That's cheating, Imogen drills from where she was reshelving. It doesn't count as cheating. We're practically the same person. No one calls me on the lie. Artemis shouldn't have done my homework on top of everything else, but she helps without being asked. It's how we work. Any word from Mom, I ask as casually as I can manage, probing around the topic even more gently than I'm probing Jay's ankle. Nothing new since Tuesday. She should have finished up South America in the next few days. Artemis planned our mother's whole scouting mission. I haven't heard so much as a word from her since she left 7 weeks ago, but Artemis merits regular updates. Can you focus? Jay snaps. She was on assignment in Scotland keeping tabs on Buffy and her Slayer army antics. It didn't do us much good. Buffy still managed to trigger an almost apocalypse. Now that Jade's back at the castle without any magic, she's not happy about it. She not let us know frequently. Rise said, I say, mindful that Artemis would do it in a heartbeat, but her to-do list is already super full, and I don't want to add to it. Can you go to my clinic and get my spring back? Rise stands. He shouldn't have to run my errands. He ranks far above me in pecking order, but he puts friendship before hierarchy. He's my favorite in the castle besides Artemis. Not that there's tremendous amount of competition. Rise, Jade, and Artemis are the only other teens. Imogen is in her early 20s. The three littles are still preschoolers. In the council, all four of them aren't exactly BFF material. Where is it? He asked. It's right next to the Stitches pack, behind the Concussions pack. I'll be right back. He saunters away. The medical clinic is actually a large supply closet in the opposite wing that I've claimed as my own. The training room is amazing. Naturally, we prioritize hitting, not healing. While we were waiting for Rise, I elevated Jade's ankle by propping it on top of books that used to contain the blackest spells imaginable, but now are used as paperweights. George Smite, the youngest of the littles, bursts into the library. He buries his face into Imogen's skirt and tugs on her long sleeves. Emo, come play. Emo puts him on her lap during teaching hours. Ruse Savatu is in charge of the littles, but she is as old as sin and far less pleasant. I don't blame George for preferring Imogen. Are you done? She asked me. I hold up my paper triumphantly and got it. Child of Slayer, child of Watcher, the two become one. The one becomes two. Girls of fire, protector and hunter. One to mend the world and one to tear it asunder. There's a postscript, like Artemis can't help but comment on his own creepy ass prophecy. When all else ends, when hope perishes alongside wonder, her darkness shall rise, and all shall be eaten. Imogen snorts, devoured, not eating, and my defense, I'm hungry. Did I get the rest? She nods with help. Well, even with Artemis' help, it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't have any culinary recipes. I tuck my papers back into the book. Rise returns with the supplies chest as the other littles break into the library and swarm Imogen. She's the busiest person in the castle, other than Artemis, who has already left to prepare lunch for everyone. Sometimes I wish my sister belonged as much to me as she does to everyone else. Rise strides towards me with the spring pack. Little George runs at his legs, and Rise trips just before he gets to me. The pack flies out of his hands. Without thinking, I lunge and save the kit in midair with one hand, with the whole motion feeling surprisingly effortless for my usually uncoordinated self. Good catch, Rise says. I'd be offended by his surprise if I wasn't experiencing another ripple of anxiety. It was a good catch. Way too good for me. Yeah, lucky, I say, letting out an awkward laugh. I break the ice patch back and wrap it in place around Jay's ankle. 20 minutes on and an hour off. I'll rewrap you when the ice comes off. That will help with the swelling and rest it as much as possible. Not a problem, Jade. And then Jade leans back with her eyes closed, and she substituted all the time she used to spend on magic with sleeping. I know it's been rough on her. It's been rough on everyone, having the entire world change yet again. But we do what watchers do. We keep going. My phone beeps. We avoid contact with the outside world. Paranoia is a permanent result of having all your friends and family blown up. But one person has this number, and he's the highlight of our tenure here in the forest outside a sleepy Irish coastal town. Cillian's almost here with supplies. Rise perks up. Do you need help? Yes, I don't know how I manage without you. It's an absolute essential that you come out with me and flirt with your boyfriend while I check over the boxes. The great hall of the castle, always chilly, is lit with the late afternoon sun. The stained glass windows project squares of blue, red, and green. I fondly pat the massive oak door as I step out into the crisp autumn air. The episode is drafty, with questionable plumbing and dire electrical problems. Most of the windows don't open, and those that do leak. Half of the rooms are in despair, and the entire dorm wing is more a respiratory for junk than living space. And we can't even go into the section where the tower used to be because it isn't a safe. But the castle served our lives and persevered what few of us are left, and so I love it. Out in the meadow, which had finally recovered from having a castle magically drop into the middle of it 2 years ago. Old Brother Smite, my great uncle, is a sword fighting with horrible Wanda Wyndon Price. Though sword bickering would be more accurate since they pause between each block and strike to debate proper stance. The mystery of the Littles escaping is solved. Ruth Sabato is dead asleep. I watch her across the meadow to make sure her chest is moving and she's only dead asleep, not dead. She lets out and snore loud enough for me to hear from this distance, and I not reassured. Fellow rise to the path outside the castle grounds. I can still hear Wanda and Bradford arguing. Cillian is on a scooter, boxes strapped to the other side. He lifts an hand and waves brightly. His mom used to run the sole magic store in the whole area. Most people have no idea that magic was a real thing, but his mom was deceitfully talented and knowledgeable witch, and best of all, one who could keep her mouth shut. Cillian and his mother are the only people alive who know there are still watchers in existence. Not witchers, that's a completely different novel. And that we didn't all have to die, which when we were supposed to. We haven't told them much about who we are or what we do. It's the safest that way. And they never ask questions because we were also their best customers until Buffy killed Magic. But even now, Cillian still makes all of us non-magical supply deliveries. Rarely, online retailers don't accept Hidden Castle in the middle of the woods outside of Shinkon. Cillian stops his scooter in front of us. What's the story? There's a flash of movement behind Cillian. A snarl rips apart the air as darkness leaps toward him. My brain turns off. My body reacts. I jump, meeting it mid-air. We slam into each other. The ground meets us. Meets us hard and we roll. I grab jaws straining from my throat, hot saliva burning where it falls on me. And then I twist and snap, and the thing falls silent, still a dead weight on top of me. I shove it aside and scramble to my feet. My heart is racing, eyes scanning for any other threats, legs ready to leap back into action. That's when I hear the screaming. It sounds so far away. Maybe it's what's happening the whole time. I shake my head, trying to force the world back into focus, and I realize there's a creature, a dead creature, a creature I somehow killed at my feet. I stagger backward, using my shirt to rub away the hot stickiness of its drool still on my neck. Artemis! Bradward Smite runs up. Artemis, are you all right? He hurries past me, bending down to examine the thing, and it looks like it's Hell's version of a dog, which is accurate because I'm almost certain it's a hellhound. Black, mottled skin, patchy fur, more like moldy growths, fangs and claws, single-minded, the deadly intentions, but not anymore because I killed it. I killed it. A demon. A voice in my head whispers, and it's not talking about the hellhound. Nina, Rise says in as much shock as me. Bradford Knight looks up in confusion. What? Not Artemis. That was Nina. Nina killed it. Everyone stares at me like I too had sprouted fangs and claws. I don't know what just happened, how it happened, why it happened. I never done anything like that before. I feel sick and almost elated. That can't be right. My hands are trembling, but I don't feel like I need to lie down. I feel like I could run 10 miles, like I could jump straight over the castle, like I could fight 100 more. I think I need to throw up, I say, blinking at the dead thing. I'm not a killer, I'm a healer. I fix things. That's what I do. That's impossible. Rise studies me like I'm one of his textbooks, like he can't translate what he's seeing. He's right. I can't do what I just did. Bradford Knight seems less surprised. His shoulders slump as he pulls off his glasses and polishes them with resignation. Dang, that's another big ass word. But why isn't he shocked now that he knows it wasn't Artemis? The look he gives me is one of pity and regret. We need to call your mother. And that, you guys, wraps up episode 1 of Slayer. And I figured, you know what, since one chapter is like 20 pages, I'm probably just gonna do one chapter of this book per episode, since, you know, the book is pretty, you know, it's like 400 pages or something. But if the chapters get shorter, I'll do 2 per episode. But for now, we'll just do 1. That way we can kind of do this all the way till the end of October. But let me know what you all think of this in the comment section below. Sorry if it got a little bit too long, but hopefully it helped you all relax and feel safe and felt like someone was there hanging out with you. Until next time, this is Giorgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and I will catch you later. Bye bye.